From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In the NOCO, a daily slice of Northern Colorado news and happenings. It's Tuesday, February 20th. I'm Erin O'Toole. One of Cary Morin's guitars is proudly displayed at the Fort Collins Museum of Discovery. That black Fender Electric speaks to his musical legacy here in Northern Colorado as an Americana artist, or if you prefer, Native Americana, as some have dubbed his musical style. It's a legacy with deep indigenous roots that Morin brought with him from Montana and replanted in Fort Collins 4 decades ago.
The people that I grew up around influenced the songs that I write and the music that I play, just like any songwriter is influenced by the people that they grew up around. My Crow heritage is definitely rich in unique music and culturally unique. So that provided a different backdrop for me.
Cary Morin's new album is a collection of songs inspired by the paintings of Charles Marion Russell, whose work conjures up vivid images of life in the Old West. We're listening back to a conversation he and I had at the museum just before his album was released. Now, you obviously have been part of the Fort Collins music scene for quite a while, but you grew up in Montana. Tell me a little bit about that. Was music always a part of your life growing up?
Yeah, it was. I had parents that were both interested in music. My father played guitar around the house, and they listened to country music mostly. When I was in first grade, my mom traded doing laundry for a neighborhood lady for piano lessons for me.
Oh.
And it was kind of funny because the woman would come in and she'd assign me something to do every week, which I wouldn't do. And then when we got together the next week, she would play what I was supposed to play the previous week, and I would watch her, and then I could do it. So she didn't mean to, but she taught me how to play by ear, and I'm forever grateful for that.
That's incredible.
I was a terrible sight reader.
Okay. But through that experience, you discovered you could kind of teach yourself.
Yeah, I wish I could do both, really. It's better to be able to communicate with musicians, especially when we're doing projects. But I find ways around that, too.
Okay. I would like to talk about your newest collection of songs, and it's called Innocent Allies. It's coming out in January 26th. Mm-hmm. And it's a collection of songs inspired by the artwork of this very well-known Western painter, C.M. Russell. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about where did you first see the artwork of C.M. Russell?
Well, growing up in Montana, everybody sees it from their earliest memories. Yeah. It's everywhere. The first one that meant something to me was a painting that was just always on the south wall of my grandfather's house outside of Lodgegrass, Montana. Mm-hmm. And it almost was part of the family. I ended up using that idea to help develop this album, the relationship with that painting, and all these other paintings that, as a Montanan, we all grew up around. My time at Charles M. Russell High School.
Wait, there's even a high school named for him. Oh,
yeah,
my gosh.
In Great Falls. And I think that I might have taken it for granted just because it was always surrounding me. But after both my parents passed and I became in possession of all the coffee table books, it was pretty easy for me to sit down and imagine songs based on paintings, mainly because Charlie had a way of freezing a moment just before all hell breaks loose.
The sky is red and the ground is white. Welcome us home from a long cold ride. The days are short, the snow stays on the ground. With gratitude I hear the sounds.
For people who aren't familiar with Charles Marion Russell's paintings, can you describe briefly what the art looks like?
Early life in Montana, before fences. landscapes, incredibly accurate images of animals, horses, people, cowboys and Indians. Just life in general. Everybody that had a hand in daily life in Montana. I mean, it's hard to imagine, you know, what this country used to look like without trains and fences and buildings, and grass was everywhere. And if you look at a Charlie Russell painting, it'll help you imagine that.
Yeah, the way it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of bringing these paintings to life through song. Your first single is called Big Sky Sun Goes Down.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk a little bit about the process of writing that?
The album idea was something that I had kicked around for quite a while in different forms. Arrived at the Charlie thing. And anytime I make any album, playing the first chord or writing the first word is the hardest thing. Just getting to that point. And I think once you get beyond that point, then the gate opens and all this stuff just pours out. But sometimes I really have to force myself to get to that point.
It's that blank page staring.
Yeah. So I did, like in our RV, I kept a bunch of those books of my dad's. And we were at a campground outside of Vail called Rancho Del Rio. And there's this platform on the hilltop overlooking the Colorado River that I didn't know about. I just happened upon it. And I thought, well, this is cool. So I went and got a chair and a couple of those books and my trusty iPad and listened to the river and just looked around, and that's the song that came out.
You can hear the air, it's silence as the palette signals the calm. Nothing can stop the cold approach of the evening coming home.
I love that. I can only imagine how beautiful that was, too. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me. Thank you so much.
We really love listening, so it's great to be a part of this.
Beneath us is a song to me. This land is talking to me.
Cary Morin's new album, Innocent Allies, is out now. You can read more about his work and see videos for the first 2 singles at kunc.org. And that is it for us today here on In the NOCO. We'll be back with you tomorrow with more of what's happening in northern Colorado. Robin Vincent is our executive producer. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.